I like being on the right side of history. Anybody else like being on the right side of history? I do. Twitter will call me a hater. Social media will say, hey, basketball player, you don't know. But the reality is, when you do this thing for nearly 20 years, when you make connections within the sports, all sports are alike. And my relationships with NFL people, college football people, baseball people, basketball people, tend to know a little bit more about what I'm talking about than maybe I might let on. Joe Banner, former general manager of the Cleveland Browns most recently. Before that, he was with the Philadelphia Eagles, Quote, cutting a player who has a non-guaranteed contract is honoring the contract. This issue is easily fixed, starting with top-tier players signing shorter deals. There is no equivalency, despite how hard some try to make. Players can and should fix this. They did honor the contract. The player accepted the deal the team gave them. The team gave them that right. I'm not saying the system is great, but players already have the power to fix, and teams are not breaking contracts when they do this. It's a common misconception. Actually, it's not a common misconception. It's a flat-out lie that NFL players don't have guaranteed contracts. They do. They do. They are not all fully guaranteed, but that, again, is the player's choice. Secondly, rookie contracts are actually fully guaranteed. Let me tell you another lie you've been told a bunch recently. You have people saying the running backs should have their own union because the running backs are getting screwed. You heard that one? You heard that one? Because the new trend, as they say in the NFL, the new trend is to get a running back, use him up in his first contract, and then put him out to pasture and not pay him huge money. Okay? Is that right? Is that the way it works? I mean, the truth is that Ezekiel Elliott, had he not gotten a new contract, was still going to make in the neighborhood of $20 million over the next 2 years, based upon his contract this year, which is the back end of a rookie deal, and his fifth-year extension, which is also part of the rookie deal. Had he been signed to a deal beyond that, 2 additional years, right now the franchise tag would be in the $13 million a year variety. So if you put 13 plus 13 plus 20, okay, what do you end up getting? You end up getting $46 million over 4 years. That's an average. And that's on the low end because I actually think he'd be getting more than 20. But that's an average of $11 million. And what the Cowboys will do is they'll probably extend this and give it a 5th-year guaranteed or whatever. But probably the first 4 years are completely guaranteed. And it'll be somewhere in the $13 to $15 million a year variety. It won't look like that on the books because you can move it around based upon bonuses, and it ends up saving the team in terms of their salary cap for years to come, depending on where you put the biggest percentage of the dead cap money. What Joe Banner is simply saying is, hey, man, La'el Collins, what did he get this year? What did he just get? He got 30-some-odd million in guarantees and a contract extension. And what we're $35 million guaranteed. And we're told that's a team-friendly deal, right? Because he did not, but La'el Collins has had up and down years. Remember last year when they moved him position-wise, he struggled early on. And the idea is this, forget about the $50 million. Everybody says, well, they're not going to honor their contract. Yes, they will. If you just wanted a 3-year or 4-year, $35 million deal, then negotiate for that. Now, if you negotiate for that, there's a possibility the team says, we really only want to give you a 30 in guarantee because we could lose you on the back end of that. But there is no stipulation, none, in the collective bargaining agreement that tells teams what percentage of a contract can and cannot be guaranteed in a second contract. There isn't one. Kirk Cousins got his fully guaranteed. What's interesting about the Kirk Cousins thing was 3 years, $86 million? Is that right? Remember the time people freaked out? But the truth is that if Kirk Cousins gotten a 4 or 5 year deal, it would have been for 110 or 120, but the guarantees would have either been the same or maybe even a little bit more had he been willing to sign some non-guaranteed part of the deal. People thought that was going to be a game changer. It wasn't. And the reason it's not, Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson have new deals, and the reason it's not is pretty simple. Because teams want to protect themselves just like players want to protect themselves. They want to protect you on both ends. They want to be protected against the fact that you could be injured at any time in this sport and never play again, and some NFL contracts aren't insurable. Insurance doesn't pay dollar for dollar on it. On the other hand, they also want to protect themselves against the idea that you could either hold out or walk away at the end of your deal in case you still have juice in the tank, which is a reasonable ask. Hey, man, we gave you $35 million in guarantees when you were already under contract. The least you can do is let us own your rights for another 2 years in case you live up to that contract and we want to continue paying you. Earl Thomas got every penny he was owed last year. I think the idea is a lot of times we use our own perspective, our own biases, our own experiences, and we put them into the athletes that we cheer for. And we feel like the man is always trying to keep us down. But the truth is that NFL players have it far better than any of us do, and maybe far better than even they should. Their salary cap is based upon a revenue share. Yours isn't. Mine isn't. It's not. Now, maybe my next contract should be better, but I'm not blaming Fox Sports Radio, Premier Radio, for the terms of my deal. I don't like every term within my deal, but that's the deal we agreed to. That's the deal we agreed to. I have a couple things that I would like in there, and you know what? The next time around, I will put them in there if I can. But I may lose something else in the deal that I want. It's called negotiating. And our ability to be completely unrealistic. Well, baseball players, they have the best deals. Well, sort of. If you factor in that they get drafted out of high school or drafted out of college, like Aaron Judge did. So they play 3 or 4 years in college. Many of them not on scholarship because college baseball teams have, 8.5 scholarships? Then they have to go to the minor leagues. And even if they're a high draft pick, they get paid up front. But after that, you're in the minors for a couple years. Then once you make the majors, you're talking about 4 years until you reach arbitration. They weed you out in baseball. Weed you out. And if you're able to survive, you'll get a second big deal. And if you're able to thrive, you'll get a huge deal. But you're also in a sport where you can show up and play 150 nights a year for 10 straight years and nothing ever go wrong. Whereas in the NFL, they're giving you a 4-year guaranteed contract. You get your money up front. You get 4 years guaranteed. After the veterans said, you're paying the rookies too much. That's why it changed. The rookies used to make more. The reason they didn't was the veterans were like, dude, what are you doing giving Sam Bradford $50 million before he plays a snap? No. Kick that back to us. Kick that back to us. Meanwhile, they get 4 years guaranteed in a sport where you're one Ryan Shazier tackle away from being hobbled the rest of your life. Where is our reality? Wake up every morning and say, no one owes me anything. I can make my own happiness. Right? No one owes me anything. Because we wake up every morning saying, the man is just trying to keep money from us. Not really. Not really. Like, look, the La'el Collins deal, it gives you cost certainty for the Dallas Cowboys for 4 years. It saves them some money in some luxury tax, in some salary cap, so they can spend that either on Zeke, on Dak, on Amari Cooper, or on all three. It protects the player so that he can play. It protects the team so they have the right tackle, but it's not a crazy sum of money, so you feel like you're massively overpaying. Everybody ends up happy. And if you don't like the last year and a half, 2 years of your deal where you could be cut, guess what? Like Joe Banner said, don't sign it. Nobody forces you to. Kirk Cousins could have signed a bigger deal. Could have signed a longer term deal. Could have signed for 5 or 6 years, some crazy amount of money. But he wanted short-term, guaranteed, what can you give me? And that's what he got. And people thought, well, he reset the market. No, he didn't. Guys are well over $30 million now. His is not. His is 3 at 3 years at 84, 86. You do the math. It's really good money. Really good money. But 3 at 30 is 90.
Hi, I'm Doug Gottlieb from Fox Sports Radio, and you need to subscribe to the Fox Sports Radio YouTube channel where you can hear and see me. Why not? Plus everybody else who's awesome here on Fox Sports Radio.